Hello everyone, welcome back to Malik 034 channel. This is Mallikarjun. So in this today's session, I'm going to demonstrate about how you can clean up your old Oracle home and how you can clean up your old grid infrastructure home after you do your database upgrade or after you do your grid infrastructure upgrade. So if you see here right now, I have my plus ASM, that is my Oracle Restart standalone grid infrastructure, and my DevDB, that is the standalone Oracle Restart database. So these two databases are already at 19C. If you can see, if you check your etc URL tab, and you will see your ASM instance, which is under 19C grid home, and your DevDB database instance, which is under your 19C DB home. So these two ASM and the database both are upgraded from 12C. I'm gonna show you in quickly how I upgraded and what is my old Oracle home and what is my old grid home. So how you can clean up those old grid home and old Oracle home, that is a concept here. So the cleaning up process is not that easy. So if you do some mistake and it's gonna clean up your current existing grid home and current existing your Oracle home, that is gonna impact your production downtime or that's going to impact your current running database or the current setup. So to clean up your old grid home and DB home, you should be extra careful. And then I'm going to demonstrate on those steps in this particular demonstration. So before going that, if you are new to my channel, always go back to YouTube and search for Malik034 and then please do subscribe. And if you missed out my previous videos, you can always refer them in my YouTube channel, and you can always go to you videos or the playlist. I will get all the previous recordings. And if you're looking for any material related to you of the document, you can always refer my blog, malik034blogspot.com, and you will see all the materials with the respective tabs here. You can refer them. Right, let's get started with the cleanup process. Okay, before we start that cleanup, if you see my grid is in 19C, my database is 19C. So make sure that these two, how you can make sure that these two are upgraded from your previous version, right? So one of the ways you can check your Vara inventory. Uh, to find out your Vara inventory location, you have to cat your /etc Vara inst.loc is the central inventory file, which will locate it to my central inventory. So if you cat this Vara inst.loc, you will see inventory underscore location. That is your inventory location. You can go inside your inventory location and do ls, and you can see this context.xml. Go inside that context.xml and do ls, and there's a inventory.xml. This is your central inventory file, and you can cat this one and verify your old setup, right? So if I cat this one, I can see here Vara gi 12c db1, Vara db1, Vara db 12c home 1. So these are my old entries. You can see this is pointing to user on app 12201 grid, and this one db home is pointing to user on app Oracle product 12201 db1. These are my old entries. I can remove it out because I already upgraded my gi to 19c. You can see these two, uh, Vara gi 19c home 1, Vara db 19c home 1. So it is user on app 19.0.0.grid and user on app Oracle product 19.0.0.0 db1. And you can see this indexes here, index 1, and it has index 2, and it has index 3, and it has index 4. And wherever you see CRS equal to true, that means that is your current running and active grid home. You can see that CRS equal to true, that is pointing to my 19C. And whereas my old 12C grid home, I don't have that CRS equal to true flag. This flag will be added only that particular grid home is active or not, right? So this 19C is currently active, so this CRS equal to true flag is enabled here. And this Oracle home, there is no flag for this Oracle home. You can see, right, your Oracle home DB home type 0 index 2 and type 0 index 4, and you can make use of your Oracle home for creating a new database on your 12C Oracle home, and also you can create your database on 19C Oracle home, because this Oracle home does not have any limitation. Even though you have grid home 19C, you can have your 12C Oracle home, you can have your 19C Oracle home, and even you can have your 11G Oracle home. There's no restriction on that. But whereas considering grid home, you should be able to run only one grid home at a time. So Right now CR19C grid home is active. That's where you can see the CRS equal to true flag here. And this 12C Oracle 12C grid home, it is a decommissioned. It was the old grid home, and I upgraded from 12C to 19C. That's why this become inactive now. So I have to remove this 12C grid home because I'm not using that anymore. And this 12C Oracle home also I'm not using that anymore. I have to remove that 12C grid home as well. So in order to remove that, you can always log into Oracle user who are the owner of that grid home, and you can just simply run this one. First, I will remove my Oracle home. I'll just there's a deinstall directory. I'll just go inside that, and there's a deinstall directory, and go inside that to this one LL. You can see this deinstall.sh or deinstall.perl script. So this is the one you have to use it for deinstallation of your Oracle home and the grid home. So I'll just run the deinstall. Right, so checking for the required files and bootstrapping. And once you successfully uninstall this grid home and DB home, and you don't see these entries in your inventory file. Right, so it's taking time. Okay, fine. You can see it found out my inventory logs here, and config check operation started here. And you can read through all of this. And this is the deconfiguration log file, and it says deconfiguration trace file. You can find out here, and you can separate your input method here. Specify the list of database names that are configured in this Oracle home. So right now I don't have any Oracle databases configured on that database. On that particular Oracle home, I'll just go ahead with a blank, just enter. Right. So next question is deconfig check operation summary. Uh, the Oracle home selected for deinstall is this is your 12C Oracle home, and the inventory location is this is your inventory location. And checking for config of your status of your CCR, and CCR check is finished. Do you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. Done. So it started with my Oracle Universal Installer cleanup start. So it started my cleanup process. You can always tail the log. So let me take a duplicate session, and one of the best practice what I always recommend, always tail your logs. Right. So done. So successfully detached Oracle home from your this Oracle home from your central inventory, and successfully deleted directory on the local node, and Oracle Universal Installer cleanup successful. Right. So this is all the result summary, and Oracle deinstall tool successfully cleaned up temporary directory. So everything is cleaned up now. Now you can go back to your 12C, and you don't see that directory anymore. If I see DB home here, like see I don't have that DB home one here. Right. So that's a cleanup process you can make sure. And again, you can go back to your central inventory, and then this is your central inventory location, and you can cat this inventory. You don't see that 12C Oracle home here anymore. Right. So you can see this is removed, and you can remove this particular entry from this inventory now. So now it has marked as the removed here now. Earlier I just compare. I'll go back here. It was an active Oracle home. You can see here 12C was not having that flag removed. Now if I can go back here, now it has a flag called removed equal to T. And now same thing, I'll go to my grid home, CI, okay, GI home, and there's a deinstall here, and do LL. Again, you can see deinstall Perl script or the shell script here. I can go back, I can run this deinstall here, deinstall / deinstall. And other thing is, when you are deinstalling, you should not be inside your grid home or the DB home. You have to be outside of your install the DB home directory. Deinstall. Let me paste it here. Okay, so I'm running a okay. I'm running a deinstall two times here. That's why. Okay, deinstall. So checking for the required files and bootstrapping. Right, so we started with the deinstallation process. Okay, Oracle grid infrastructure home is your 19C, you can see, and Oracle home selected for deinstallation is, this is your old grid home, and inventory location is, this is your central inventory, and the home being deconfigured is not a configured grid infrastructure home. That is your current grid infrastructure 19C, and we are uninstalling this 12C old grid home. And ASM is not detected in the Oracle home. Do you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue. Right, you can see here. Run the following command as a root user on this particular host. This is your 12C grid home, and unlock, and then this is the parameter file. You need to run it. So let me take a new session here. Root. Right, so it is your duplicate session with the root user. I'm just going to copy this command. I'm going to execute here. Done. So this is the log file. You can tail it and you can verify that the install process. Okay, done. So successfully unlocked your 12C grid home. So you can just enter here. You can see run the following command as a root user on this node, and then once that command is successfully run, and hit enter here. Done. Right. So again, Oracle deconfig tool. So this is your location. You can always check, and it's doing now the deconfiguration. Oracle universal installer cleanup start here. So that's why, while cleaning up, you should be extra careful which Oracle home you are running it out. You can see it is 12C grid home, deinstall and deinstall. So if you run it from active running grid infrastructure, then it's gone. Like, your entire setup it's mess up. Right, so everything is clean up done here. Successfully detached your Oracle home, that is your grid home, from your central inventory, and successfully deleted your grid home, that is 12C grid home on this node. And Oracle Universal Installer cleanup was successful. And you can review these directories and delete those manually. You can see if there are no Oracle home associated with that, you can go ahead and remove manually these directories. Yeah, we can do that anytime cleanup. So now I can go back to my central inventory. So where is my central inventory path? Okay, here it is. I'll just log into my central inventory, and again I can check that inventory.xml. Right, so inventory.xml, you can see this grid home here. Ora GI 12C GB home 1, user and app 12201 grid, and type equal to 0, index 1, and removed equal to T. So you can go ahead and you can remove these two entries from your central inventory now. Right, so it is a successful cleanup process. You have to do it. And if I can go inside my GI home and verify whether it is exist or not, you don't see that grid directory here. So this is a way you can clean up your old GI home and DB home. I hope this is pretty helpful, guys. In my next session, I will come up with the new topics. Until then, take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.